What are the keys to the game, Garrison, for you?
Small, intricate thing here. I think that Julian Sand's quick release is probably one of the biggest things that no one's talking about in this game when it comes to go against your guys' pass rush. Uh, I do think that's going to neutralize, or at least, neutralize getting sacked back there. And then on the other side of the ball, I would say this. Earlier when I talked about, can your wide receivers get open in man? Sark doesn't leave his running backs to block back there a lot. They swing a lot. They swing out a lot. If you go to the short side of the field and you see the running back go to the right, chances are they're going to do a pump fake, look down deep. If it's not there, he's going to dump it back down to the running back. With that being said, can your tackle stop a guy like Sonny Styles or Arvell Reese from coming off that edge? I'm really interested in seeing that. Yeah, I'm really interested to see what your running backs do, to be honest, because Sark does not have his running backs pass pro. He does not.
Gerald, what about you?
Yeah, I'm with you. I think the running game for me, I think if Texas can get going on the ground, when you've got a young quarterback, when you've got in a hostile environment, if the inside zone game is working for Texas, and you're not going to gash this Ohio State defense, but if Texas is consistently picking up 4.5-ish yards per rush on an inside zone, something around that, then I feel like Texas is going to be in a good spot, because that does open up the play action, that does keep the defense honest in a lot of ways, and doesn't allow a guy like Matt Patricia to scheme things up and to put you in bad positions. So I'm looking at especially the interior. I think the Texas interior offensive line versus the Ohio State interior defensive line. I think on the flip side, Texas's tackles versus Ohio State's edges, like you said, can those new tackles keep Ohio State's elite pass rushers from getting back there and creating havoc? Those are the things that I'm really looking at.
No, I don't disagree with that. So the number I put on it is about 3.5. When we went down to Alabama, that's what I wanted yards per carry wise. I think we were pretty close to that. You're not going to be able to gash this team. You're not going to average 5 to 6 yards per carry. That's not going to happen. But to keep them honest, run the ball 25 times, 3.5 yards per carry, to open themselves up to be able to hit those deep shots. We saw that in that Alabama game. Caleb Downs creeped up in that game, and then we hit them over the top with their cornerbacks, and they had really good cornerbacks. They had Terrion Arnold and Kool-Aid McKinstry, so that was a good defense as well. And Quinn Ewers was able to hit those deep shots this time. Hopefully Arch Manning can. And it's going to be interesting because Texas is also adjusting. We were wide zone mostly last year, and I think we're going to try more inside zone this year because that's more of the talent of this offensive line. And let's be honest here, the wide zone did not work versus quality competition. Like the games I needed it to work versus Georgia and Ohio State didn't work at all. So I think it's about time we kind of abandoned that in those type of games and, just got downhill. And that's how this football team is going to take it to the next level as well. Because, again, why I didn't think they could win the national championship last year is the 2 years prior, I saw them struggle in the red zone because they couldn't push people into the end zone and score a touchdown versus Oklahoma, versus teams of that caliber, that quality. And you saw it again versus Ohio State on the 2-yard line because you can't go up the middle versus Ohio State. You have to throw a toss, and then that's a 6-yard loss, and that basically ends the game. So I think that's the key. They're going to have to be able to run inside the zone, and they're going to have to do it about a 3.5-yard clip.
And that, just to jump on that, that's the CJ Baxter of it all. CJ Baxter is an inside zone runner, right? Look at the running backs on the top 3 or 4 guys on Texas depth chart. Maybe skip over Trey Wisner because he doesn't fit that mold. But if you look at the last couple of guys that Tashard Choice recruited, right, they're all within about an inch-ish of each other and about 5-ish, 7-ish pounds of each other. They want the inside zone run, and Texas couldn't do that last year. And so CJ, to answer your question, Aaron, it seems like he's going to be a full go. Like from everything that we've heard from Sark, it seems like, CJ Baxter's going to be a full go for them. And that, again, if the guards are playing well, if the center's playing well, and CJ Baxter is able to pound on that inside zone, I feel like, again, Texas's offense will be okay.
I do want to go ahead.
They asked Sark that exact question, either the 16th or 17th after the second scrimmage. And he said, Baxter coming in, I thought I was going to have to, rein him in a little bit, be careful with him, kind of put him in bubble rack. But my mindset has totally changed. I'm going to be aggressive. That's what he said. So if that's what he feels, then this guy's probably 90% plus healthy. And I think you're going to see, I don't think you're getting 20 carries from him, but I think you'll get 10 to 12 touches from him. And I think you'll get 8 to 10 from Trey Weiser and 5 to 7 from Christian Clark. That'd be my guess.
There's one other point of the game that I think is very, very important. Sark has no idea what Matt Patricia is going to do. And I think that, and of course we played you guys a lot of tape on your offense. Not saying that the offense is the same thing year to year and out, right? It's never going to be that. But I do think the guessing game, and I think both teams are gonna have to play. I think we're gonna have to play a lot of guessing games on defense, and same with you guys on offense. And that's one thing I'm really interested in, because I think these are two of the smartest people in football, and just in general. And so, but I do think I'm gonna say it's a big advantage. It may be 2% of an advantage I would give it, but that I'll take it if it gets to us to a Buckeye win. But I really want to see what Matt Patricia does, because he does like to run nickel. He does like to do things like that and be multiple. So yeah, that's one thing I am really interested in seeing what he does against Sark.
I forgot about this too, and so I looked at a couple of our older videos. Neil Brown's on staff for Texas, and I'm interested to see like what he brings to the offense. We saw Paul Chris come in a couple years ago, and he brought in the jumbo offensive line where they bring in 6 offensive linemen all the time. I don't know what kind of like little details he's going to have, because I mean, you're going to hire a former coach like that who did a really good job at Troy, and I think did an average job at West Virginia. It's going to be interesting what kind of wrinkles he brings to the game as well. I completely forgot about that, but they hired him like, I don't know, 6 months ago.
He's there specifically to scare CJ Donaldson. CJ, that's exactly.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. I'm curious to see, if they dap up after. I don't know what their relationship's like. That's going to be pretty interesting to see.
Matt P's a nice guy now, man. I mean, listen, the reason I was so happy about the hire, I was confident in it. He took some Ozempic, it looked like, shaved the beard down a little bit, ain't big. It's kind of like a 2 guard. Doesn't wear his hat backwards anymore. It's forwards now.
Colin Cowherd would love that.
Yep. And he smiles more, and I know the players really love him, and like I'm happy he's in Columbus, honestly. And Ryan Day, he hasn't made like the detrimental hire yet, so that's why I'm really confident in him.
I have more question marks, honestly, about Brian Hartline than I do.
Oh, for sure. Sure.
I think Patricia will be fine. I don't think there's going to be some giant downgrade there, so I wouldn't be that worried.